Greetings. I am Dr. Suzanne Mynette Mayo from Grambling State University's Department of Family and Consumer Sciences. Today I will talk about our service learning project with the students in CDFR 460, which is our internship capstone course in our department. The topic today will be teaching early learners about giving back while helping children under stress. Thank you so much for having us today, and I look forward to this workshop. First, I'll start with our introduction. The students in our class decided to embark upon a project that would help them to determine the effectiveness of their competency as college students working with students who are children ages 4 to 8. Because our department is so diverse, we decided that we would look at two major projects. First being President Gallo's Prez Ricks Kid Zone, which is an integrated educational experience that has a twist of athletics with it during our athletic major events, mostly our football games. This event happens annually and is usually coordinated through most of our upper level courses and certainly in the internship class and in our special projects class. The next event that we worked with throughout this course in service learning is the Let's Dream Conference, which is a conference that is held annually at Louisiana Tech University and tri-annually abroad. The students have worked very carefully with this planning of this conference, and last year, because of the pandemic, the students were not able to go to Bangladesh, India, and work with the students there and students from across the world. So it was a virtual conference. The students in our class worked very closely with everyone to ensure that the work that we were doing would enhance working with children around the world. This, in fact, made their service learning experience richer, globally, and very exciting. We also decided in the last year, based on the COVID-19, that we would address two particular areas of concern: stress and resilience among children. So our objectives were to create a game or an activity for each student to embark upon addressing stress and resilience. And the second service learning project was to write a blog or an article for the Modern Parents magazine, which is housed out of New Orleans, Louisiana, and addresses an array of issues impacting children. The lifelong effect of stress on children can have emotional tolls for years to come. So the students and I came up with looking at toxic stress and the effects of this through the learning process. We have two basic aims, as I mentioned: stress and resilience. So we looked at the resiliency of children as it relates to their family interactions, and then we focused on helping these students to learn how to become good and faithful citizens in their communities, even though they're lower level learners at the age of 4 years old. We're teaching them the core value of giving back based on any circumstance that's going on today. And certainly the COVID-19, the Black Lives Matter protests, and everything that's going on made us very uniquely looking at this phenomenon going on at a historically Black college in the state of Louisiana and for years to come. We also looked at our methodology very seriously this year. Because of COVID-19, we decided that we were going to look at two basic questions that the students would embark upon their experience in the internship program from a service learning standpoint. They would look at themselves as researchers and future family scientists and identify solutions to help the children that they were working with. They also would ask of themselves, how can they examine and explore unique ways to help the children address issues that they are impacted every day because of societal things that are going on? It's important to note that each student has to write a creative capstone report addressing these questions. So the discussions were very intense, very reflective, and made the students look at themselves, particularly the African American students, while they looked at children who were struggling with mental illness, depression, and some even suicide. So we went to the literature. We looked at the Office of Mental Health in the Department of Health and Human Services. The students looked on the CDC guidelines for returning to school, which is certainly in the news right now. And we looked at the leading cause of health among African American youth ages 8 to 17 being suicide in 2017 and almost tripling during the pandemic. This gave great concern to the students as well as the faculty. And so the students assessed their own competency, their own mental health, well-being, and the stressors that were associated with the interactions that they were having with children on a daily basis, mostly virtual, sometimes in person in their own families. And so here are the results, which we're very proud of. 20 students have written about issues impacting themselves and children and parents for the Modern Parents magazine. 30 games and activities have been created and given to children ages 4 to 12. 1,000 books, because our program focuses on early literacy and child development. We've given away 1,000 books to children ages 3 to 12 years old. So here's the checklist that we do in our service learning projects. We look at the dismissive attitudes of the students in what they say to students and children, and look at it from the eyes of the children instead of looking through their own lenses. We looked at the language that they use and make sure that we are de-escalating any problems and situations that may occur from a microaggression standpoint or any of the micro or macro levels. They also looked at what is it that they can do to de-escalate the stress and all of the pain that children are happening in their lives today. And lastly, we wanted to make sure that the children we work with, that they are always at the center and the focus of all interactions during their internship experience, and certainly in their family experiences when they leave the child care center or the online virtual internships that were happening in the last year and a half. So our conclusions are this: service learning projects work. They help us in our field in coping mechanisms and behavior issues with children. The stress management of not only the students was increased, but the stress management of the children increased as well. The resources were helpful to parents and families, and they've told us that through texts, through phone calls, through letters, through notes, to say thank you so very much for helping us at this difficult time. And then families in the educational realm of our children were able to continue to build healthy relationships because the attitudes of the children changed about giving back during a time when we were all at home with our families, hunkered down in one environment for learning, family life, and socialization. Last but not least, the community is better because service learning activities make a difference. So our collaborations and community partnerships have continued. We hope to continue to promote wellness, healthy wellness, mental health, and social and emotional well-being. And we acknowledge the respect of working with children and letting them know that we love and appreciate them and we care for them to be whole as citizens of our United States of America. And last but not least, stress was reduced because of the interactions of our students with our children in our communities. Listed here are our references. We hope that some of them will help you as you begin to look at your own life, the children in your own lives. And we hope that we've sparked just a little bit of interest about looking at children and the stress that they experience, and certainly the great work that our college students around the state of Louisiana, particularly at Grambling State University, do as we continue to be committed to service learning and community service. Thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate the opportunity to present this to you. Thank you.